weekend. We hope you're holding up and what's happening around you. And Jeffrey Uzong.
And I'm Kwara Kikulu. Welcome to the show. We're following up with the development in Kayama, of course that's in Kwara State, following that very deadly and wicked attack on Tuesday, which left scores of people dead. The report we're getting is that over 160 people died, but the governor says less than 100 people died in that attack. The Kwara State Governor, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, visited the area, and in fact he spoke about the president's deployment of troops to the Kayama area of the state. And not long after that, President Bola Tinubu also released a statement confirming that indeed he has ordered the army to move into Kayama as he condemned the terrorist attack and mourned victims of the attack by Boko Haram terrorists, an overnight attack killing hapless villagers in Woro. I mean, seeing the very gory images, which we cannot show you, but those images are really gory. Showed them executed, literally. A lot of them with their arms tied behind their backs, execution style, in that village of Woro in Kayama, Kwara State. It leaves a very, very sad trail at this point, that in present-day Nigeria, in 2026, such heinous attack can take place in 2026 in such manner. Now, these villages were rounded up in that sense, so the terrorists had time to conduct that heinous crime against humanity, execution style. They were tied and they were executed. The reports say that the villagers, who were predominantly Muslims, rejected the type of Islam that the terrorists were trying to foist on them, Sharia law, what have you. And they rejected and said, no, we're going to stick to what we know. And it's reported that that was why these villagers were executed. This is a clear case of massacre. But what is even saddening is the fact that this has been happening for a while, Jeffrey. We have reported these attacks in Kwara State, in Kogi State. And this is not the classic case of, you know, Northeast or Northwest, where we've seen these attacks over a decade now. This is North Central, but we have reported this time and again. So, I mean, this place was a disaster waiting to happen already. And it has happened. So we have families that are distraught right now. We have families that have been displaced. We have people who may never recover from this attack. This is not how to live. This is not the way that governance should be conducted. The welfare and security of lives is a primary responsibility of government. And clearly, the government is failing at that.
Clearly failing at its responsibility on this particular one, to drop the ball. This is why we need technology, because if you see some of the expanse of land and the hinterlands, I don't know much about this particular community, but while you were talking, what went through my mind was the fact that those of us who live in the urban centers, urban areas, when things are working, we use it as an assessment of national progress. And a lot of disservice is done to the people in hinterland, rural areas and communities. So maybe we'll recalibrate how we assess progress and success at the end of the day, that if people in the rural areas are not safe, then we are not safe. These we understand that Muslims who want to practice the religion of peace that is known for, but these ones who have a skewed and a warped understanding called terrorists want to force their style of religion on them. For disagreeing, they were executed in 2026. There's everything just coming to kill. They are literally executed. I don't know how long it took, but from the time they killed, whether it's 100 or 160, whatever the number is, in one fell swoop, is very heartbreaking, is very disturbing, is very scary, as a matter of fact. And so, deploying troops, yes, it's good to put boots on the ground to restore peace, law and order, but the deed has been done, so what else happens? We need to do something to protect the lives of our people. It was just yesterday we were talking when I said one of the major problems I see we have as a people is the value for human life is very, very, very low. We have become, I think we have become desensitized, even as media. At some point you're hearing these numbers, 10, 15. So now you hear this number. So when you hear 5 dead, nothing happens to you anymore. But that's somebody's father or somebody's mother, son, daughter, uncle, aunt, nephew, niece, or someone somewhere. That's a life being cut short because of the dastardly acts of these elements called terrorists. The Nigerian government has to sit down. And again, it has gone to, if you see the map of Nigeria, so Kwara borders a couple of southwest states from Oyo, Ogun, Ondo. So it's getting close. What needs to happen before some level of action is taken? You can go about doing your politicking. The season is here, so we can't stop you from doing that. But the job of governance, which is the primary responsibility of government to protect lives and property, if you fail at that, then I don't know what we're doing, guys. I don't know.
So we must apprehend the terrorists responsible. It's been said that this is a faction of Boko Haram. I know there's all of that categorization and all of that, but what really matters right now is that these people are apprehended and they are made to face justice in the most, I would say gruesome manner, really, but they're made to face justice as well, because this is unfair, this is wicked, this is devilish, and this should never happen in Nigeria in 2026. We're following updates from that region. As we said, the governor visited, and I must tell you, there are a lot of people in Kwara State and beyond who are underwhelmed by the governor's work when it comes to security. In fact, the president's statement basically said that there must be collaboration between federal and state agencies to provide succor to members of the community and ensure those who committed the atrocities do not go scot-free. So all eyes on the military security agencies, the intelligence community, to ensure that not only are they apprehended and made to face justice, but this must not happen again. This must not happen again. So while we keep watch on what's playing out, there's so much more we have for you on the program today. It was a big day at the Senate yesterday with the Electoral Act Repeal and Reenactment 2026. It finally happened. Jeffrey, now did it happen the way a lot of people wanted? Don't worry. We have all of the breakdown of what passed, what did not pass, what is going to happen in the coming days. We'll break all of that down for you. But one sentence from this, Jeffrey, for you.
You know, at the end of the day, I was saying that I don't know who these people represent. With the greatest sense of respect to some individuals there that I have a lot of respect for. But as an institution, I'm very disappointed at what happened at the Senate yesterday. And the Senate president, for me, was basically just grasping at straw. I'm sorry, with greatest sense of respect, what he was saying didn't cut it for me. The rule is that the previous law says, as prescribed by INEC, or the commission in this sense, to say the results will be transmitted. Now the law, what the new framers or the framers of the new law were trying to say was, let's not leave it to discretion. Let's put it as a law, as serious as from EC 8A, that when results are collated and entered, they are snapped immediately simultaneously. I don't know what is wrong or what is bad or what is impossible with the technology we have available to us. So on this one, quite big disappointment from the Nigerian Senate. Kudos to the House of Reps. The joint committee, conference committee has been set up. We hope that the reps' position will override that of the Senate. But now we know who leads us in our National Assembly. So, Mr. Senate President, when Nigerians say your Senate is a rubber stamp, it is moments like this when Nigerians are disappointed that the only shred of transparency that they could follow for any election, I don't understand.
So we're going to be giving you a detailed breakdown of those provisions, what has scaled through, what election conduct would look like next year when we have the general elections. I must say that it's also important to know how all of the lawmakers voted, who voted for, that provision who voted against
Can you try and
that
track
particular vote provision. We must begin to know how
so that we'll know who will make sure it doesn't come back. In
our
fact,
lawmakers voted.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
if I have my way, if there was a voting on that clause, for instance, because what happens is that when the bill is presented to them at the National Assembly, they'll vote clause by clause in both chambers. The conference committee will harmonize the position. They will now come and look again to vote clause by clause, and then the other things will follow before it's gazetted and all of that. If I have my way, every person who voted against electronic transmission of results should not come back to the Senate or the House of Reps. They should not be allowed. So find out how your senator voted, from the Senate president to the Senate leader to the last person. How did they vote? Okay, the Senate president doesn't vote, by the way.
For what it's worth, and I always try to say this, I think we've said it time and again, that sometimes you'll be shocked that some of the constituents may want it.
That's what I'm saying.
May not want it. So we need to first know how the lawmakers voted, so we can confirm
from the
consequence that is it doing, or he or she, well, very few she's, but are they doing your bidding? Is this what you sent them
it's very shocking
to do? Because that's what it is about. It's representative. Then we can know what will happen in 2020.
Is there an issue of broadband or spread of technology? Because Boso Tijani has been trying his best, and they said they wanted the 2025 is supposed to be 90% penetration of broadband. So this is just politicians being politicians. So if you're a senator and you voted against electronic transmission of result, my prayer is that you will not win the next election. And I say amen to that. Well, your constituents will decide that. It's as simple as that. So because I don't see you as a friend of the country.
This has hit a nerve with Jeffrey.
I don't see anybody who voted against that provision as somebody who works for the welfare and trust of the people. So when the Senate President was explaining, I was trying to listen to the reason. I didn't hear any reason.
I think what's very important is to understand the rationale based on facts, data, and, I mean, take away politics. And I think this is the least that they must do. As much as I know that there are other extenuating factors.
Yeah, of course. That's why I mentioned broadband.
You know, but let us sit down and say, this is what we have on our hands. Why don't you want it? Let us contend on the basis of ideas, data, what kind of democracy we want for our country. I can almost
agree with you right here on this program that it has nothing to do with data.
No, I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Just
in case there is a reason, let us have that reason. Let us table it and debate it.
Yeah, I would like that as well. But the guests will do justice. I'm sure maybe the Senate will also have a better explanation, because the explanation of the Senate President did not cut it. It was grasping at straw. As far as I am concerned, maybe there's a stronger position we can hear. But this is the general yearning. What is the problem? The problem is we want to see the result real time. That is just the issue. That is just, this whole argument is as they pick the beavers and snap it, we want to see it immediately or as soon as network gets to that particular device. That is, so what is impossible?
I mean, why do you have the beavers if you can't do all of that? But, I mean, exactly. It's just almost like using your mobile phone just to take pictures. And to save contacts when you can use it to communicate proper.
Until his election, everything becomes difficult to understand. But it's okay. We're here.
We are.